Hello, my name is Panos Carajalios,
And my name is Jason Cueto.
and we're presenting the answer for our evaluation question number 3. What did we learn from our audience feedback? We showed our main product and the 2 ancillary tasks to our teachers and peers to gain their opinion on what each product looked like. They gave us positive feedback, which could be considered as what the audience like in similar media products, but they also gave us negative feedback, which could be considered as what we can improve in each product to have the successful result that we need. To begin with, I'm going to explain the different kinds of audience feedback that we received. Formative feedback refers to an ongoing feedback during the construction or progression of our TV documentary. This can be in form of audience feedback via YouTube, face-to-face feedback, and many more. This benefits the production of our product because it will highlight the strengths and weaknesses of it and thus improve upon based on the audience feedback given to us. Summative feedback is given by the target audience once the product has finalized its production stages and is published. Summative feedback is normally in a form of comparison with a mark scheme, and in order to get the most out of the mark scheme, we need to be meeting the objectives that are considered for a highly marked documentary. Both formative and summative feedback play a crucial role for the construction of our TV documentary because firstly, when we constantly seek audience feedback from our peers, it is easy to monitor the growth and adjust the product to ensure continuous improvement. To begin with, we took advantage of the formative feedback that we received in our Adobe Spark video. From this feedback, we learned that the audience liked the cut to the beat technique that we used to create more interest as well as suspense. Hence, we thought that it would be essential to include this technique in our main media product as it would be a more entertaining and fascinating way to present an aspect of our documentary. The second comment that we received in our Adobe Spark video suggested that we could add some more information in order to be more precise. Hence, we learned that we need to include much information in order to make sure we're clear about the subject we're talking about in our product. Secondly, in our preliminary editing of our documentary, we asked our audience to provide us with some formative feedback about which music to use in the introduction of our documentary. Our first choice was Art of Silence and the second choice was Lucid by Liquid Memoir. We used the latter as it was preferred by the audience. Hence, we learned that we should use more music that will be relevant to the theme of the documentary. Throughout our 2 drafts of our documentary, we took much audience feedback into consideration in order to make some improvements to our product so that we can have a successful final product. From the formative feedback for our first draft, we learned that instead of using an image to present the venue in San Diego, in which the first Comic-Con was held, we should use a video form of presentation so that it can be more active and engaging. Furthermore, we also learned that we need to present our statistical information in a better format so that it can be more appealing and captivating so that the information given can be absorbed.
In the second draft of our documentary, we received feedback suggesting that we should cut the pictures according to the beat of the background music, also known as the cut to the beat, in order to demonstrate what people can do at the Comic-Con event in a more interesting way. As we used this technique in our Adobe Spark video and received some positive feedback about it, we thought that it would be very beneficial for the documentary to include it since it will match the theme and style of the product. Hence, we learned that in order to have an effective result from our product, we will need to present it in a more engaging and entertaining way. Moreover, a part of the feedback was also about the abrupt way in which the music of the introduction was cut when the presenters were about to speak. From this part, we learned that we should have a smoother cut of the music of the documentary so that we can have a smoother transition. The last part of our feedback was about the clarity of the visual demonstration of our statistical information. Specifically, the scale information was not clear, as the audience could not distinguish which one, Marvel or DC, was mostly preferred by the audience. Hence, we learned that we should be clear when giving statistics information, both in audio and vision, so that we can make sure that it's clear to the audience. As for the radio advert, we received positive feedback and we learned that using upbeat music can be very beneficial, as it matches the energetic theme of the documentary. It was also mentioned that it would be effective to include the time, date, and channel that the documentary is going to be broadcasted in in 2 times. This would be an effective choice to make, as we could make sure that the audience knows where and when the product is going to be broadcasted. Hence, we learned that we should be very specific and clear about this kind of information so that we can avoid any misunderstanding. In addition to the radio advertisement, we also created a TV poster for our TV documentary. In order to get a formative audience feedback, we decided to make multiple designs for our TV poster. Ultimately, we decided upon 3 final designs. We sought feedback from our peers and even teachers to get a diverse response according to the TV posters, and this was the result.
For the first drop, you see that the font for the cast really stands out. It doesn't actually fit well with the actual MCM London logo. In addition, I would like to see the 3 other casts put into this draft. As you can see, we only have 1 split into like half.
From the video presented, the first audience feedback mentioned that the font did not match with the logo of Comic-Con. Therefore, for our final TV poster, I learned to select a suitable font which would match the logo of Comic-Con. Finally, with the first TV poster, the interviewer was not keen on only having 1 cast. As a result, for the final draft, I learned that it would be effective to include the 3 main presenters that were involved in the TV documentary. Myself was not included because I was working behind the scenes.
It looks okay, but the people look a bit too serious and they don't really go with the background properly because they're like, you could see them there. But I feel like, if anything, there should be like an actual background.
As for the second audience feedback, the interviewer talked about the facial expression of the cast as too serious. As a result, I thought of a solution to eliminate this flaw by making the 3 casts in cartoon mode. This would make the TV poster appear childlike, light-hearted, and influencing a friendly feeling to the audience. Thus, we learned that we should have a poster that would match the energetic theme of the documentary, as there is a contrast in the moods between the 2 products.
The third poster, however, because it's in cartoon format rather than photographic images of the characters, I think is more in keeping with the nature of the event that it's promoting, and I like the skyline, the blacked out skyline of London in the background. Makes it feel more cartoon-like or more appropriate to an audience that might be looking at that poster.
Finally, for the last audience feedback, the interviewers seemed to approve the cartoon format of the characters in the third poster. From this, I learned that the audience likes different themes that challenge the forms and conventions of typical media products, such as this.
Thank you for watching.